The celebration of our Super Bowl victory is still fresh in our hearts, but for several players in the Seattle locker room, that golden glow is quickly being replaced by the cold reality of professional football. We watched this team navigate the draft with precision, turning limited capital into a haul of fresh talent ready to take someone's job. It's a bittersweet moment for any die-hard fan who values loyalty and hard work. Please help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers and leave a like on this video. Emmanuel Wilson is the name currently circulating through the halls of the facility as the draft dust settles and the roster takes its new shape. For a guy who stepped in when the team was in a pinch, the news from the draft room might feel like a heavy blow to his future here. Head coach Mike McDonald and the front office didn't just look for depth, they looked for replacements who can push this team to a repeat championship. After losing the Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III, the team initially looked to the former Green Bay backup to help carry the load. He did a decent job with 493 yards on the ground, but the front office clearly felt they needed more explosive playmaking ability. That is exactly why they used the 32nd overall pick on Jadarian Price from Notre Dame. Price is a dynamic threat who can change a game in a single play, and that puts immediate pressure on the veterans. We also have to consider the eventual return of Zach Charbonnet from his injury, which creates a very crowded room for a player like Wilson. But the backfield isn't the only place where the heat is rising, because the secondary is seeing a major influx of talent too. Nehemiah Pritchett is entering his third year and needs to show he belongs in the dime packages, but the team just drafted Julian Neal and others who are hungry for those snaps. Even the offensive line is facing a shakeup that few saw coming so soon after a title run. Anthony Bradford has been the starter at right guard, but his play was often called inconsistent or sloppy during the regular season. Even though he improved during the playoff run to the Super Bowl, the staff decided to trade up in the 5th round to grab Bo Stevens. This move shows that the coaches aren't satisfied with just being okay at any position on the field. They want elite play across the board, and they are willing to replace established starters to get it. Every one of these veterans is now essentially fighting for their professional lives as training camp approaches very soon. Our front office has proven it is about results now. The situation in the backfield is particularly tense because the position requires such a high level of physical durability and explosive speed to succeed in this league. When the team moved to secure a high-profile rookie with their first-round selection, it sent a clear signal that the status quo was no longer acceptable for the running game. This veteran back joined the roster with hopes of proving he could be a reliable starter, but his lack of top-end speed and limited experience have become major talking points among the scouting staff. He showed flashes of being a hard-nosed runner who can find the gap, but in a modern offense, you need a player who can take it to the house from anywhere on the turf. If the rookie hits the ground running and shows that elite burst immediately, the veteran's role could shrink to almost nothing before the season even reaches the midway point. It is a harsh reality for a player who likely thought he had earned a longer leash after contributing to a winning culture last year. The coaching staff is looking for someone who can maximize every single block provided by the offensive line, and they are clearly betting that the new arrival has a higher ceiling than what they currently have on the roster. There is also the emotional weight of seeing a teammate come back from a major knee surgery, as that player already has a deep connection with the fans and the locker room. If both the rookie and the returning standout perform at their expected levels, there simply won't be enough carries to go around for anyone else. We have to wonder if the front office is already looking at trade possibilities or if they truly believe a committee approach is the best way to protect their investment. This kind of competition can either bring out the absolute best in a player or it can cause a mental lapse that leads to mistakes on the field. Every practice snap now carries the weight of a playoff game because the margin for error has completely vanished for those who are trying to hold on to their spots in Seattle. We all know how ruthless this business is when it comes to building a championship team. The ultimate goal for this organization is to build a dynasty, and you cannot do that by staying stagnant or settling for average performance at key positions. If the running game struggles because the veterans cannot provide the necessary spark, the entire offense becomes predictable and much easier for opposing defenses to shut down. We have seen it happen to many Super Bowl champions before, where they get too comfortable with the players who helped them win the title. By bringing in young, hungry talent, the team is forcing everyone to elevate their game or risk being left behind in the search for another trophy. This matters to you as a fan because the efficiency of the ground attack directly impacts how much pressure is placed on the quarterback in the passing game. A strong rushing threat keeps the chains moving and keeps our defense rested on the sideline, which is the winning formula we all love to see. If the transition to the new rookies is smooth, this team could actually be better than the one that just won the championship. However, if the veterans lose their confidence and the young players struggle with the complex playbook, the offense could stall out in critical moments. The instability at right guard is another major concern because a single missed block can lead to a turnover or a season-ending injury to a star player. We need a line that is a solid wall, not a unit that has weak links that can be exploited by the heavy hitters in our division. The front office is making these tough choices now so that the team doesn't have to face those disasters when the games truly count in the winter. It is about being proactive rather than reactive, which is the hallmark of a great franchise that wants to stay at the top. Every move made in the draft was designed to address a specific weakness that could have cost us games last year. Now we get to see if these bold changes will translate into more wins on the scoreboard and another deep run into the postseason for our beloved squad. The best-case scenario for this roster is a complete transformation where the competition fuels a massive jump in overall production for the entire unit. Imagine a situation where the new rookie running back becomes a household name by October, while the veterans push themselves to career-best numbers just to stay on the field. In this world, the offensive line becomes a dominant force because the pressure of a young backup forces the starting guard to eliminate all the sloppy mistakes and penalties. The secondary would become a turnover machine with so many talented young corners rotating in and keeping everyone fresh for the fourth quarter. It would be a beautiful thing to watch as the team steamrolls through the schedule with a depth chart that is the envy of the entire league. But we also have to look at the darker side of these roster moves because the worst-case scenario is just as possible. If the veterans feel disrespected or cast aside, it could create a divide in the locker room that ruins the chemistry that led us to a title. If the young players aren't ready for the speed of the professional game, we could see a regression that costs us several close games against our division rivals. There is a very real risk that the team has moved on from reliable contributors too quickly in favor of potential that may never actually be realized on the field. The tension in the building must be incredible right now as players look at their new teammates and realize their jobs are no longer secure. Every dropped pass, every missed assignment, and every false start will be magnified under the intense spotlight of a championship defense. This is the high-stakes gamble that the front office is willing to take to ensure the window for winning stays open as long as possible. We are watching a masterclass in roster management, but it is a cold and calculating process that doesn't account for past loyalty. The next few months will determine if these moves were the work of a genius or a mistake that will haunt the franchise for years to come. The stakes couldn't be higher for everyone involved. The roster is undergoing a massive shift, and the veterans are clearly on notice after a very aggressive draft by the front office. It is never easy to see players who contributed to a championship being pushed toward the exit, but that is the nature of a team striving for greatness. We have to trust that the vision for this squad is the right one to bring another Lombardi Trophy back to the Pacific Northwest. The competition in camp is going to be fierce, and it will likely be the most intense summer we have seen in years. Be honest with yourself. Would you rather stick with the veterans who have reached their ceiling, or take a chance on the explosive potential of these new rookies? This is a defining moment for the future of the franchise, and your support helps us keep track of every single development. Please help us hit our goal of 1,000 subscribers so we can continue to bring you the best insider coverage. Don't forget to like this video and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on your favorite team. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Go Hawks!